Welcome to another episode of Daily Dose by Dr. Karthika. So here we are dealing with Aphorism-2, which deals with the topic Ideal Cure. This is also an aphorism to be by-hearted by all the students. So the aphorism states that the highest ideal of cure is rapid, gentle, permanent restoration of health in its whole extent in the most reliable way on easily comprehensible principles. Now we'll have to break down this concept of ideal cure into specific points. The first one, it should be rapid, gentle and permanent restoration of health. And the removal of disease should be in the whole extent in the shortest possible of time in a reliable and harmless manner. And always an ideal cure should be based on principles that are easily understood and uniformly applicable to all patients in all conditions. Why cure should be rapid? Because if cure takes a longer period of time, then that means up to that point the disease will be progressing. So it can lead to a permanent damage to tissues and organs. Example, in chronic disease, it can cause structural changes to tissues and organs. And in acute conditions, since the inflammation or the progress of disease is very rapid, it can even cause death. And also, if cure is taking a longer period, then that means up to that point of time the patient will also be suffering. Master Hahnemann specifies that the cure should be gentle because the old school physicians were using cruel methods of treatment like venesection, leeching, galvanizing. Now all these treatment procedures were giving more pain and suffering to the patient. Hahnemann was very much disturbed by all these practices. Therefore, he is very particular that our system of medicine should be very gentle while curing the patient. Next point is cure should be permanent. That is, all the signs and symptoms of the disease must completely removed and the patient should go back to his prior healthy state. Now, cure should never mean palliation or suppression. In palliation, what happens? The set of signs and symptoms will disappear only to reappear after a specific period of time. And in suppression, it means we are using some kind of treatment protocols that will suppress the superficial disease only to bring back the disease in a more vigorous form affecting the internal organs. An ideal cure must mean removal and annihilation of disease in its whole extent. Now Hahnemann always urges us physicians to examine the patient, not just the disease. That is, we'll have to understand the patient as a whole. He always makes the statements that there is no disease, only sick people. That means we have to identify what is the cause of disease in this particular patient. So for this purpose, we'll have to understand the patient in its whole extent. That is the physical plane, the mental plane, the physiological changes that is caused due to the disease, his diet, regimen, lifestyle, everything must be understood. Only then we can understand what is the cause of disease in this particular patient. According to this individual cause, that is whether exciting or fundamental, the treatment protocol should be planned. That is whether to give an acute remedy or an antimiasmatic remedy should be planned. Only then complete removal and annihilation of disease is possible. Now Master Hahnemann concludes the definition of ideal cure by stating ideal cure should be harmless and based on most reliable and easily comprehensible principle. Now why Hahnemann added this statement was because the old school physicians were using difficult language to explain their treatment procedures and also the cause of disease to the patient, which they never understood. And they were continuously changing their theories and speculations and also principles about the cause of disease and their treatment protocols. Now, as mentioned in the Aphorism 1, they were spending lots and lots of time in making these speculations and theories, yet they failed to bring about cure and relief to the patient. While homeopathy, it was always based on fixed principles and laws and was providing permanent, rapid and gentle cure to the patient at the same time without causing any kind of suffering to the patient. Now, with this last statement, that is on easily comprehensible principle, Master Hahnemann indicates the 7 basic or cardinal principles of homeopathy, which are the law of similia, the law of simplex, law of minimum dose, and the theory of chronic disease, theory of vital force, and the 2 doctrines, doctrine of drug proving and doctrine of drug randomization. Now all these basic principles are fixed and also easily understandable by the patient.